Welcome to We Used to Live Together. I'm Hannah.
I'm Kris.
And we used to live together.
Welcome back, roomies. We have another special guest.
We're
racking them up, baby.
Are we like a guest pod now?
Imagine if on the weeks that we don't, we have to we need like a puppet. We need like a, I'm like a ventriloquist.
I kind of like it.
No, I like the guest. I think it makes for a richer conversation. Not that we don't.
I think we do pretty well for ourselves.
We are entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have a special guest today.
This is a long-awaited guest.
Please do the intro.
Oh my God, I didn't prepare anything.
I'm gonna cry.
Okay, where do I start?
So
you're already tearing up.
The year is 2009.
So I am so thrilled to put this voice into your earbuds, roomies, because
listen up.
This girl right here, she's a star.
Stop.
She's a legend, and she's one of the greatest people I know, one of my oldest friends ever.
Wow.
And she's finally here, Amber Carpenter.
Hello.
Welcome.
Yay.
Finally, we've been trying to get you on for
It's been
2 years.
Logistically, it's been a challenge.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard.
It is.
We're busy girls.
We are, and we have a long distance.
Exclusively,
friendship.
we are a long distance.
Tell the folks where you hail from, Amber.
I live in beautiful Fresno, California.
Frez, yes.
Frez, yes. And here's the thing. First off, when I first met Kris.
Oh my God, yes.
Wait, what does that mean?
When I first met Kris, so I don't know if we want to get into like the heavy lore.
Well,
we can.
That's what this episode's for.
Okay,
I
perfect.
fear.
I am from the same place that Lorenzo is from.
Yes.
We're both from
I know where you're going.
Which was a small town. Kris has experienced Kalinga.
Yes.
I then moved to as an adult. I moved to Fresno, and Kris had never experienced Fresno.
I hadn't known at the time that, and Lorenzo was quick to tell me that it is the 5th largest city in California.
It is.
So I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought it was another small town like Coalinga.
No, we are densely populated, bitch.
No, now I know, because I too now have been to Fresno.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've experienced it. But when I had initially, I think I had known Kris for about 20 minutes before he asked if we had a Chipotle in Fresno.
I don't know why that was my metric.
That was like, you were shocked. You were like, wait, do you have a Chipotle?
I don't know what I was going through at the time.
Yeah.
But that was my metric for like a metropolitan city is like, do you guys have a Chipotle?
You're like, oh, there's infrastructure there.
Do you have paved roads?
Yeah.
Do you guys still have horses instead of cars?
Yeah. Kris's Roman Empire is whether or not Fresno has Fresno has Chipotles.
Yeah.
We have multiple Chipotles. It's very exciting.
I was thrilled to hear it actually.
Yeah. It's every once in a while I go to Chipotle.
Yeah.
And it's nice. I feel like I have a lot of privilege.
Yeah.
Because there is not a Chipotle in Kalinga.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's a great city. Not that Coalinga's not a great city, but Fresno's a large city.
We are developed.
Yeah.
We're developed. So I live in beautiful Fresno, California.
Well, thank you for making the drive down.
She drove all the way down here, roomies.
I
Through
did.
the grapevine.
Through the grapevine.
Through the grapevine.
We heard it through the grapevine.
Exactly. You're so right for that. So I made the drive. I make the drive periodically.
Yeah.
It's a good time. It's always a nice time. I feel like for a while I was an honorary roomie.
Right.
I
No,
was
like you lived there.
For days at a time.
For days at a time.
For days at a time.
No, but like during COVID, we needed that.
It's true. I was
it's true.
inflating and deflating my air mattress in the living room. I was listening to Kris do his nighttime routine.
All right, before we get into that, what's good, my dude?
I'll start?
Yes.
Well, how could I not be good when Amber's in town?
Yeah.
It's been so fun. Anytime, like, I feel like it's like a little kid on Christmas Eve because I'm like, oh my God, she's coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
And on
You're Santa?
yeah. On Friday, I was like, just had her location up. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, she's moved a mile down the grapevine. Okay. Okay.
Was there traffic on the way down?
It's
Oh,
it's
no.
never that bad. Like I am always in a great mood, and then we like pass through. Where is Six Flags? Like Santa Clarita area,
Mhm.
Valencia.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Once we get past Valencia, and it's like the whole. Like I feel like we look upon every freeway that exists
Yeah.
in Los Angeles, and it's like I'm immediately like fuck this shit. Like
You're like,
Oh, no.
why do I have friends down here?
Yeah.
I like, and I, my boyfriend, my lovely boyfriend, Adrian,
Shout out.
shout out. But he injured his back a few days ago.
Oh no.
And so I was in charge of driving. And
where normally you would be a passenger princess.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I'm
Speak-
eating.
Speaking.
Yes.
Speaking of.
I
I'm-
love
I'm
passion.
eating snacks.
Yeah.
I am.
You got your blankie.
Yeah.
You're
my
past that.
shoes. My shoes are off. My
Oh,
feet
yeah.
are on the dashboard.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh no.
I got my Stanley and my snackies.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. And I take my duties very
the aux cord.
seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm feeding Adrian whatever
Well, yeah, because
food.
it's like partly I'm passenger princess, but also
Right.
I'm gonna be your passenger peasant, and I'm
Right.
gonna make sure you're taken care of.
right. I have responsibilities.
You're a co-pilot.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So yeah, I was really brave,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Was that-
drove.
It's not your first time driving down though.
No,
Yeah.
I made this drive many
That
times
doesn't take away her bravery.
alone.
Oh no. I'm sorry. That's not what I.
Feels
sorry.
a lot like you're stealing
know
my
what?
valor.
As a man, I'm just gonna shut up. Actually, right
Actually,
Yeah.
you want to go?
Yeah,
We
I should just,
got
like,
it.
Wait, is it that you think? Am I hearing that you think women shouldn't be driving? Or
I actually think that's what he said.
yeah.
Chris, I cannot believe you said that.
I think
I said nothing.
should I just do this?
Yeah.
Should I just do this permanently? I
Yeah.
Think, okay. Perfect.
So we're changing the name to We Never Lived Together.
change the name to We Met.
Hi, Ruby. Welcome to We Never Lived
We
Together.
never lived
I'm
together.
Hannah.
And I'm Amber.
All right. I will say nothing.
What's good with you?
Wait, did you finish?
Oh,
what were
yeah.
you saying?
I don't remember. So
Nothing's good.
I'm happy.
You're just happy.
I'm also a couple mimosas deep.
Oh,
So
Well, did you go to an event today, Hannah?
I did, but I think Amber's going to talk about that.
Please.
Right, Amber?
What's good, my dude?
I am. So I don't know if this has been addressed. Hannah is like a fantastic event planner. And
Oh,
like
it has been addressed.
oh, perfect. We're gonna get into. I need to clear some space.
You can clear your name later.
Okay, perfect. What's good for me is Hannah planned a beautiful event today,
Woo.
wherein it was just a celebration of girlhood. It was a celebration of literacy, champion of literacy, Hannah Rodriguez. And it was just a wonderful time. We had a little like brunchy bagel party,
Mhm.
and exchanged books and baskets and treats.
Yeah.
And it was
Did you have
just
a large turnout?
yeah, it was a
20
it was a really good turnout.
About
It was
20
a
people.
really
It
good
was a
turnout.
really good
Yeah.
turnout. I would
About
say so.
20 I would say it was a pretty good turnout. Yeah, it was a great time. There was like a great diversity of books.
Mhm.
Like feel like there was a lot of representation
Mhm.
across the board. So yeah, I had a delightful time. And honestly, like getting to see, like not to be gross about it,
Yeah.
but like I really feel like I see you shine and I see you
Mm.
thrive. Like when you put these
Oh my God.
events together.
Thank you.
Like true, like there is like no one is throwing a party like you are.
I agree.
No one
I second
does
that.
prom
Oh my God.
like
Can we clip this for my
for
For your business,
Yeah,
for your
for my
business.
yeah. Like truly
What was the name of your?
Plans by Hands. Follow
Plans
me on
by Hands.
Instagram.
Plans
at Plans by Hands.
I'm subscribing. I'm hiring. Wow. Are you hiring actually?
Not yet.
Okay. Is
Let
it
me-
one woman? Is
It's
it
a
one woman
one-woman show right now.
Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a really
Thanks
delightful.
for saying that.
It all came, and I mean, it came together. I feel like a lot of people worked together.
It
and
was a
came
group
together
effort
really
for
well.
sure.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Cassie and AJ were so kind to host. Let us invade
beautiful
their house.
space.
AJ
Yeah.
killed it at the barista bar.
Barista baby.
Literally,
Thank you.
Yeah.
He was like one nose ring short of being like a cool
Yeah.
non-binary barista.
I know. I had the beanie.
Yeah.
The
You
one that
did.
doesn't go over the
You
ears.
did.
Yeah.
But you weren't they them enough.
No.
Yeah,
I
maybe
wasn't.
to
next
feel
time,
like
AJ,
cool.
let's add the
Yeah.
nose
All I
Can you,
need-
can
if
you
I
do a
add-
septum?
If I do
please?
the septum
Yeah.
and then make the lattes $7,
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll be
yeah.
the
You've got
perfect
it.
You're
they
in.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
just like it was exactly like a they them serve the coffee.
Yeah.
That sounds almost hateful. I'm an ally.
Yeah. Let me make something
No,
very
But
clear.
let's be honest though. We know that the they them coffee is really good.
Oh, it's the best.
No one does coffee like a they them.
I'm nervous.
Okay.
Heather also helps a lot.
Yeah,
Shout out Heather.
Heather helped a lot. It was honestly an incredible.
It was lovely.
I feel like I get to like come down and do.
Was it
fun
a
stuff like
celebration
this.
of womanhood?
Oh,
I
yeah.
would absolutely say so.
Okay.
Do you want to know some of the like I put a vibrator in my bag,
Yeah, she's bad.
and it kind of was fought over, low key.
People
You are a nasty girl.
that made me uncomfortable.
I'm uncomfortable too.
People were chomping
say
at the bit for that vibrator.
They were.
And then when you were like, guys, like the vibrator was just $9,
Yeah.
they still went ape
They
shit.
still
Like,
they're
they
like a vibe's a vibe.
Yeah.
A vibe is a
They said a
vibe.
vibe's a vibe.
You
I'm
would-
there.
And you know what? We should have done like Oprah, like everybody look under your seat.
It is a vibrator.
That would have been.
It's a $9 vibrator.
Yeah.
And like, and it's hot pink. She's gonna open it and be like,
Mhm.
whoa.
What? Whoa.
Yeah, this is one of the moments where I wish I was a gal.
I think you could have
Yeah.
come. No, it
I
would have
didn't
ruined
want
the
to.
vibe. It would have ruined the vibe.
I don't
Yeah.
think. I
It
think
was-
more. I think
You get the vibrator.
I'm like, what is this? What do I do with this?
And I'm stealing that.
You're like,
And
oh
this
my
one's
God.
locked.
And you just look
No
at
more
all the girls.
swaps. No
You're
more
like,
steals. Yeah. You're like, I got this really cool spot massager
No.
for my back.
Yeah.
I've
No.
got hernias.
Oh my gosh.
No, I love that for you
Anyways,
guys.
it
You
was
had-
lovely.
you had
It was
a
it was a
great time.
wonderful time.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
I think women, we just need to come together
Mhm.
more than ever now.
Yeah.
You know?
And
Well, I mean,
come
you know how
together.
historically women have kind of been at the top of the food chain.
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know,
Yeah.
you deserve this.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this. It's really hard to be a man,
A man.
right now.
Mhm.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Like, is there anything we can do to?
To
Like,
support
is
us.
there anything
yeah.
that we can do in our allyship to you?
Yeah. if you, I think this is not talked about enough. If you would just amplify our voice.
That's not talked about
Yeah.
enough. Men's voices.
Yeah.
It's
How about I get the back rub instead, huh? How about that?
Yeah.
How about I get the back rub at night?
Right.
I just think when it comes to economic opportunities, jobs,
yeah.
education,
Like help a brother out is
no
what I'm
one,
saying.
no
you
one
know?
is looking out for men.
And I've always said that.
And I've said that for years.
This is so
I'm sorry.
No, I think we'll get into it in a little bit. But
Yeah.
first, what's good with you, my dear?
First, I want to apologize
Oh
to
my.
my co-host and our guest. I was late today, but I will tell you why I was late. Have you ever gone to a barbershop and waited 3 hours and 40 minutes?
No, because if it's an hour away, I'm out.
As you know, I'm on a quest to find the
I
best.
thought you were cutting your own hair.
Yeah. that was
it's
also what I
Let me
heard.
rewind. I said,
It took me 4 hours to cut my own hair.
It was my barbershop.
Yeah, I was at home. No, I told you last time or a few weeks back that I was gonna start cutting my own hair. And then I realized after I had done it, I was like, yeah, it was fine. But then I remembered this was years ago. I made a promise to myself that I would go back to the barber because I was treating it as a time of self-care. Much as like women would go and get their nails
Yeah,
done,
reflection.
I would go like this is gonna be my time to do this thing where I relax for 30 minutes in the chair and someone does my hair, So I was like, if it takes like a long time to find the perfect barber, I'm gonna go on this quest. But luckily, I think I found it.
Oh,
Today was the day.
you just had to wait 3 hours and 40 minutes.
Okay, so here, this is a barbershop in Garden Grove. It's a Korean establishment. I think it's called Hyungjae Barbershop. Correct me if I'm saying that wrong. Okay, for any of our Korean listeners.
Korean listeners.
So it's just two guys. It's these two Korean dudes. It's an unassuming plaza in a hole in the wall like barbershop. It's these two guys, and I walk in, and I didn't see many guys sitting like in the waiting area, but he stopped me and he said, "Hey, there's 9 people ahead of you, just so you know. We do a number system and I'm going to give you a number. And so there's people that have taken the number and left. So there's like 9 people ahead of you." And I said, "Okay, it's 10:20. I can't imagine it'll take 2 hours to, and even if it does, that still gives me plenty of time." So I was like, "Okay, I'll take the number." So I'm waiting. I took a 30-minute phone call and it still was plenty of time. I could have taken a 2-hour phone call, you know?
Or 3 hour and 40-minute phone call.
So I'm there.
Wait, how long was he waiting?
3 hours and 40 minutes.
That's almost 4 hours.
That's not, I wasn't waiting that long. That's how long it took me to be done.
Like round trip.
Yeah.
Got
So
it.
I was number 15. And I think when I got there, they were like on number 5. So I was like, okay, or 6. So there's not 9 people ahead of me. It's not gonna take that long. It took that long. But I was watching these guys. They are so meticulous and so precise with their movement. I mean, I think the product speaks
It's a
for
good
itself.
cut. It's a good cut.
And I think this might be the best haircut, for sure, top 2 haircuts I've ever had in my whole life.
Wow.
And this Korean gentleman, he's an older guy. He was so great at it. It was like, I could tell even just receiving the haircut, I was like, no one has ever touched me in this.
You know what I'm hearing? The way that a whole plot of like a movie played out, like
Yeah.
you get really attached to this elderly
Mhm.
Korean barber.
Mhm.
You guys like bond.
Yeah.
You know, you have this because you get your haircut every
Yeah,
2 weeks.
Right.
And that really brings people together. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, thank you for saying that. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to happen. And I think
yeah.
I found, so in the future now I know that I can go and get the number and leave for 2 hours.
And come back.
And I need to know, I need, now that I know that I need to get there earlier, so I'll get there, they open at 8:30, so I can get there like right at 8:30 or 9,
Yeah.
grab the number, leave for a couple hours,
Go do your thing.
come back,
Yeah.
and then, I'm not
Yeah.
kind of stuck,
It's like you're in line to buy an iPhone.
basically.
Yeah.
And this is the iPhone of haircuts.
I agree.
think.
It's a good haircut.
Thank you so much.
You look great.
That's what's good for me today. Thank you for asking. All right. Well, speaking of developing relationships
Yeah.
with people,
Yeah, that's a good segue.
Okay. I think
A1.
this is what I just thought of.
Hmm.
Title of EPS, because Amber's going to do it too. She's here for a series.
okay,
Amberpalooza.
this is good.
And then so it's Amberpalooza
Colon,
friendship. Amberpalooza colon
astrology.
I love that.
Okay.
I love Amberpalooza.
Amberpalooza, colon, Fresno.
Yes. Well, and that's the thing is, I think a thing I really treasure about friendship, my friendship with you guys, is like it's always a celebration.
It is.
You know, like I feel like you should really be.
We're never in a bad mood when you're around.
Oh my God! Stop. That's so nice.
And that's for real. I'm being for real.
Yeah.
No, it's and that's the thing is like there's something that's like really beautiful and valuable about not to like get
We're starting in the deep end.
No, I got so serious. No, truly, like it's I feel like you guys go out of your way to like make people feel celebrated and seen, and I think that's what makes you like wonderful people and great.
I think I
friends.
learned that from Hannah because that's a trait that Hannah has.
It's
So.
yeah. Hannah and I am not joking. We are worse than like middle schoolers dating.
Well,
Like,
okay.
it's
Well, let's
literally-
start with that.
Oh
Can
my
you
God,
can you
yeah.
give us
Speaking
your
of
history?
Middle school, yeah. Speaking of, middle school. It was the summer of 2009.
It
Okay,
was.
yeah.
It was.
I worked at a camp,
Yes.
the camp that I met Lorenzo at.
Yes.
This is great lore.
It is. It's incredible lore. Honestly, it's great. Like because I come here pretty frequently,
Yeah.
and so people are like, "What business do you have in Orange
Yeah,
County?"
they see you in my post.
Yeah.
They see
Yeah.
you.
So who's questioning you?
What business?
Like
you,
none of your business.
I mean, you know, I feel like people ask, like,
Yeah.
my dad is like, "Oh, when's the next time you're going?"
Yeah.
Like, it's a thing.
It's a
Okay.
Like we do this often.
Yeah. So I work at this camp.
Yes.
Amber comes up
Yes.
to volunteer at the camp.
Yes.
Amber's also connected with my cousin.
Yeah.
You know a lot of my family that lives in the same town you were from.
Yes.
And we hit it off at camp.
Yeah.
I fear.
I
It was
fear
almost instantaneous.
we
Love at
had
first sight?
yeah.
it was honestly, well, okay. I think I need to preface this by saying I feel like I always like vaguely knew who you were.
Yeah.
Like you were
Same
the
with me.
cousin that like didn't live
Yes.
where we lived
Yeah.
and like you would be around, but like I didn't know a lot about you.
Yeah.
And I think I just like knew like manifest your dreams, because if you see a cool person on the internet or like a cool person who's related to like your childhood friend.
Mhm. Like we always
Um,
say, manifest
manifest
your,
your
dreams.
dreams.
Exactly. Exactly. So I feel like, yeah, it was, we had so many feelings and we really loved the Disney Channel
Yes.
and the Jonas Brothers.
Very similar to how me and Kris
Mhm.
became
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah. It was like foundational
Yeah.
for sure. So,
And so after that, it was like I would come up and visit.
yeah.
I mean, it was hard because I was in high school, so
Right.
it's not
You
like I
were
could just
literally
drive
a
up
child.
there.
Yeah.
But I
you were a child.
It's true, yeah.
and but I remember like taking a train with one of our mutual friends up,
Yeah.
and we would just like do photo shoots in the field.
It's
we
okay.
would-
You and Amber?
What's insane? This is my favorite thing about the lore too. So I met you in the summer of 2009. I also met Lorenzo in the summer of 2009. Separate
Separately.
occasions.
Wow.
Separate occasions. Lorenzo dated like my childhood best friend and
Who was at the camp with you?
who
when
was
I-
at the
So and I
Yeah.
became friends with her.
Yeah. So Hannah and I had been friends for a
While
good
she was dating
few
Lorenzo.
years, and
Yeah.
she was dating. So Lorenzo and I are already like buds because he's dating my friend.
Mm.
Lorenzo and I bond over
Mhm.
whatever. So like we're friends, and then Hannah and I are friends, like distance friendship.
Yeah.
Like yeah, you would come.
Wait,
and
was that the
visit.
same summer you met Lorenzo or no?
It was.
No, I
Or
met.
no, oh no,
I met
that
him
was a few
later.
years later.
Oh, you met him later.
That
Okay.
was years. That was it. Like 2
years
years
later.
later.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Wow.
I know. So, we're just like existing.
Yeah, in the same.
like you
Yeah.
all
Wow.
like in the Amber cinematic universe.
Yeah.
yeah.
You guys were existing, and so yeah, that's like a really cool
Yeah.
like meld. That was a really cool melding of worlds.
Mhm.
It's incredibly convenient for me
Yeah.
because I get to I get to come and enjoy both of you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we became friends.
And yeah, the cringiest. We would do the cringiest.
Insanity.
I can't. Okay, every once in a while, it's like I log on to Facebook just for the memes.
Yeah.
And sometimes
Literally.
it will be like, you posted this 10 years
Yes.
ago today. And
Yeah.
it will be me. Like, Amber and I used to communicate via webcam, and we would post.
we would make webcam videos.
We would post videos to each other's like Facebook
walls.
walls.
Yes, the walls.
Oh,
And it would be like-
no.
Amber, I miss you.
Wait, this is for public viewing.
Yes.
Like anyone could see.
Could see it, and I feel like there is one person. It's burned into my brain,
Yeah.
but like I feel like at one point someone commented and was like, "Do you guys have like homework to do?
Yeah, no, literally.
Like, do you guys have?" And honest, I'm gonna be so real. I wasn't doing my homework,
Yeah.
and that's why I got average grades. Like,
you know what I think we should do for Patreon? We should.
Oh my! Please.
You know the video I'm talking
Please.
about. No, okay, so also Amber and I, well, we were in high school. We
Yes.
were obsessed with boys,
yes,
and we had very big feelings and big crushes on these two boys, and we would sing songs. We would sing Taylor.
Only for Patreon. Only for
We would
Patreon.
sing Taylor Swift songs, but since we were long distance best friends, we would cover them together. So she would film. No, you would be on Skype.
yes, we would Skype, and so it's. I can't. Like, I am trying so hard to have like any semblance of composure. I
know.
can't.
No.
Because it's literally. I don't want to describe it too much because I want
A
y'all to be
cinematic
in your
masterpiece.
bag.
It is.
It
Yeah.
just, it's just
Yeah.
we got very creative with how to make it work even long distance. And let
Yeah.
me tell you, we made it work.
We did, because at the time, I feel like this is also a key part of our story.
Yeah.
Is we both were just on fire for the Lord.
Yes, we were.
We were on fire for the Lord
And Glee.
and Glee
And Taylor Swift.
And
so
Taylor
it was
Swift.
really.
So it was that's the Holy
perfect-
Trinity.
yeah.
That's
the
the Holy
Holy
Trinity. That's
And
what
so
it
the
was for us.
second You were like, I play guitar.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm in show choir, baby.
Game
We
over.
were
That's
we were
it.
locked in. She was going to a fancy school with an arts program, and I was in mock trial. And so that was my creative outlet.
Yeah.
Was I would play guitar on Skype. You would sing along.
Mm-hmm.
How was that? Did you record it on your? Yes.
Yes.
You recorded it on your webcam.
So you were on my tiny
I
laptop.
was gonna say you somehow.
She was on my tiny laptop, like a little video of her playing guitar.
Yes.
And then I
Yeah.
would sit next to the laptop and I would sing.
Just your head.
And then I would record it. I think I recorded it on my digital camera.
I think you did too.
Yeah.
And then you uploaded
and
it.
I would upload it.
Because
Yeah.
that's how
This
we
was a
used to do.
production then.
That's how we used
Oh,
to do things.
no.
And honestly, it's
You
like
think this is a production?
Yeah.
Y'all don't know anything.
yeah, you guys don't know. It was two teenage girls with clinical anxiety and a dream.
Yeah.
And a dream.
And a dream.
Truly.
And we did it.
We did
and
it.
then it just worked out really beautifully that you married
I know.
someone I was also really good friends
Yeah.
with. And we kind of fell off.
But I think that's the beautiful thing of our friendship.
Yeah.
Is we did fall off. I would say for throughout high school we were steady.
Yeah.
And then
for
it
sure.
was kind of like, even in the beginning years of my college, like
Yeah.
every once in a while, but then it was just kind of like we would check in.
Because they were
Yeah.
a few years older than you, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So you guys, you're a few years older. Lorenzo eventually moved
Yes.
to be with you in Orange County.
Mm-hmm.
I moved for college. I like I feel like we were like going through like similar things, but I think we were just at the time we're not.
Yeah.
It was like the ebb and the flow was off.
Yes.
So we were just not
Mhm.
at the time I was like in my first relationship ever and I was like
Same with me.
I was in my own
Yeah.
like little world.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I was trying to figure out who I was and what was
Yeah.
going on. And
Mhm.
so it was never anything bad.
no, like we never had a falling out. It was just kind of like a natural.
things get busy. Like
yeah.
it is like the natural. It's just the natural like ebb and flow
Yeah.
of life. But
Yeah.
also the like, I think I always had the knowledge that like we loved and cared about each
Yeah,
other. And
yeah.
there wasn't anything like, it wasn't weird. And then I think organically,
Yeah.
I don't think Lorenzo fully knew what he was doing.
No, and I
What?
had no idea. So
Wait, what do you mean?
Lorenzo planned, this was during COVID, I turned 27.
Uh-huh.
He had planned like an ice cream social
I was there.
surprise
Yeah.
party.
That's when I met you.
No.
Yeah.
Wait, that's when we met?
Yeah. I had never met you. You were living there.
We
at the
met
time.
at her for that? I
Yeah.
thought we met way before that.
No.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was the first time because the
I
time
feel like I've known you way longer. Weird.
Well, but the time before that, I had come once before
yeah.
with like an ex
Mm-hmm.
partner of mine, and we had like, I can't remember if we stayed with you or what.
Yeah.
But like, it was you guys were like in the apartment in the
Yes.
before
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
house before
Mhm,
you
mhm.
hadn't met you. I didn't controversial. I didn't go to your wedding.
You didn't.
I didn't.
You didn't.
I didn't. And that's like I have so few regrets in this life.
And that's one of them.
That's one of them.
Mm.
That I
Well, when they renew their vows and
Right.
coming up.
Right. But that was the thing is I was going like we've talked about it.
Yeah.
We've like made our peace about
No,
it.
there's
But
no
like,
hard feelings
no,
at all.
but
Yeah.
it's like I could not. I was like working through like a breakup at the time and it
Mhm.
was really traumatic and really difficult. And I like could not like step outside of myself
Mhm.
to like go enjoy this thing.
Well, and it would have been an uncomfortable situation because you would have had to put on a face. There were so
Mm.
many people that you knew from high school that you knew from my family. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't just like you were going to be able to like forget
Yeah.
or like
Well, and it was like a controversial thing because it was like I was in a queer relationship at the time. And that was like a lot for
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
I think from like our world at
Yes.
the time. So it was a lot. So that's like not to like get weird and serious about it, but that is like, I feel like that was the thing. Like that happened and it was really like, we both were just kind of like, oh, this is like the ebb and
Yeah.
flow of friendship or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, then Lorenzo,
He planned a whole surprise
Yeah.
birthday and I had no idea that it was happening.
Mhm.
And like I literally would have never thought Amber would have made the drive because I think prior to the party we had FaceTimed
oh yeah.
randomly.
Yeah.
And I think it was like we were catching up just like with
Yeah.
COVID and we were like, what
Yeah.
the fuck
What's
is going on? Yeah.
What the hell is up?
And then I like get to the party and I see you there and I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
And then ever since then it was like
Yeah.
we almost like had a rebirth.
And we did.
Would you say?
I absolutely.
That was your
I would
Renaissance
say
period.
That was
Yeah.
our Renaissance because
Yeah.
like I feel like there's like the ebb and flow of friendship is weird because it's like proximity. There's like the physical proximity, but there's
Mhm.
also like I feel like things like fell into place where it was like I was finally working at like a big girl job and I had
Mhm.
weekends off and I
Yeah.
had a reliable car that I could drive down and
Mhm.
like I was able to stay with you. Like it was just all of the things like lined up so perfectly. And I think we also we had like entered this era of life where we had so much all of a sudden we had like so much in common again.
Yeah.
And I think we were
Aw,
like working
yeah.
through a lot of the same things and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
yeah.
processing, like, you know, like I feel like I don't want to, like, I feel like I fully deconstructed
Same.
and like you were
Same.
working on
Yeah.
that too. And so then at the time we kind of like met, it was really easy to meet each other where we were at.
yeah.
Mm.
And then, yeah, I think it was really just like a rediscovery of this, like this connection that,
Mhm.
that Hannah and I have, being like incredibly sensitive. Like I feel like I was saying like we're all, friendship is crazy because like friendship is a mirror, you know, like
Mm.
that's like a person that sees you, like you
Mm.
can look at them and they see you. And I
Interesting,
feel
yeah.
like that's what's like really, I don't know, that's like what's really beautiful about like being friends with you. I don't
Get the
It's-
tissues, AJ.
I hate this is so annoying.
It's so annoying.
It's so annoying. But like truly like being like loving you and like feeling so much of like the like being like an anxious person, being a sensitive person, like it is so easy to be gentle and soft with you that I think it really inspires me to treat myself with that kindness and grace as well. No, but it's true because it's like it's really like it's like a beautiful thing to see the qualities like I look at myself and I'm like, I'm sensitive, I'm anxious. It's like, you know, hard to like move through life and like feel like I like myself as a person, but like
Mhm.
those are the things I love about you. And also whenever you're, you know, somebody's saying out of pocket shit to you, I'm like, no, bitch, like stand up for yourself.
Yeah, no.
And then
seriously.
you know, it's easy to like turn the empathy inward or whatever,
Yeah.
right? And be
Yeah.
like, well, fuck, if I'm telling Hannah she needs to stand up for
Mm.
herself and
Right.
Mhm.
do whatever,
Yeah.
then yeah.
Well, yeah,
So-
and it's just I think our story and like where we are now, like I like you know like every part. Like you know like
Yeah.
it's like you know every part of me and I
Yeah.
don't even if I'm like in a certain mood or I'm
Yeah.
working through something, I don't really have to say anything. It's
Yeah.
like I can just be, "Hey, I feel like
Yeah.
shit today." And
Yeah.
like this is why or
Yeah.
"Hey, I like don't want to eat because I
Yeah.
feel self-conscious about that."
Right.
And, you know, and it's like those little like insecurities that pop into my head that I
Mhm.
wouldn't normally feel safe vocalizing.
Yeah.
But it's like I know I can immediately go to you.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and it's like the things that we find like I think friendship is this like really beautiful thing in that you can, you know, be friends with 30 people, but if you have 3 people that you can show like your ugliest
Mm.
like, and I'm not saying like ugliness toward someone, but
Mm-mm.
like, but I do feel like it is such a treasure to text you and be like, I feel insecure.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel insecure about XYZ thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or I feel like jealous or sad. Like
Mhm.
those are feelings that are uncomfortable, I think, just to sit with by yourself.
Yeah.
And so to have that like freedom and the ability to know, like, you know, we're like locked in. Like
Yeah.
I don't ever have to like I have nothing to prove.
Yeah.
And you know who I am and I know who you are. And I think
Yeah.
it just like being friends with someone over the course of like half your life.
Right.
Like is really but like also being able to grow because I am not the same person I was when I was 15,
Same.
you know?
Yeah.
And being able to grow and change and like to like mark that in ourselves. And I feel like I feel the same way with Lorenzo, which I
Mhm.
think is what's also beautiful is that like there were like separate friendships
Yeah.
and then it like came together in this really beautiful way and like you guys have been really like wonderful and like accepted my part like Adrian with open arms
Yeah.
and like he is now part of the unit and like
Mhm.
we get to do stuff all together and
Yeah.
like I feel like even like I said this earlier like during the Galentine's like book thing like no one this is a Hannah circle jerk episode I'm sorry but like but like no one mixes friends like Hannah. Like
Mhm.
you do it so seamlessly. Like from jump with Kris.
Mhm.
Like I was like, we're gonna get along. Kris
Yeah.
is a good person. Like we, you know, like it was so easy.
Yeah, I think
To-
if you people who are friends with you are likely to be friends with each other.
Yeah.
So you bring that out of people and you attract the kind of people who I would want to be friends with, right? Like
Yeah.
I want to be friends with Amber. So I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that's true.
That's
Good
nice that
point.
you want to be friends with me.
It
I
was
do.
like I was so excited for you two to meet because I feel like, well, obviously we're very similar.
Yeah.
Chris and I are very similar, and I was like, man, the three of us. People hate to see the three of us come in,
Yeah.
especially Lorenzo.
Yeah.
A bit hates to see us coming.
Like, I think that's the majority of our conversations as a trio is we're not talking about anything. We're talking about we're in a bit.
We're
perpetual-
acting, we are improving life.
Yeah.
Fully.
Yes, and.
We are yes-anding the shit out of
Oh,
life.
no.
Like we're like, what should we do for dinner? And then
Yeah.
before you know it, we're doing like a full bit about
Yeah.
like
I'm
writing
the waiter.
emails.
Chris is the angry customer.
That's so
Amber's
that's so
in the
real.
kitchen.
That's
That is very real.
fully a thing that has
Oh
happened.
my goodness.
Like I feel like there was like at one point Lorenzo started participating in the bit and we
Yes.
all just
It
like
was the hottest thing I've ever
Yeah.
seen. I was like, I gotta go. We gotta go.
Yeah.
We gotta
we
go.
all froze.
Yeah.
We were like, it's like when you're watching a movie and like the dad is like stoic the whole time.
Yeah.
And then he just
And
gives
then
that one little
finally-
joke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
finally he's like, and you find out the whole time he's been like listening.
yeah. Well, we didn't want to start. It was like watching a deer. Like you didn't like.
Yeah,
let's
you
not.
don't want to react too loud,
Yeah.
but you want to be
But you-
encouraging.
Yeah. Which is I think also a testament to like Lorenzo like putting up with
us.
the
Yeah.
three of us
Yeah.
interchangeably.
Yeah.
Because like before it was your bullshit, it was my bullshit, Chris.
Yeah.
Like
I believe
he was
it, yeah.
and honestly, there is when I look at those Facebook posts from 2009 that are cringe,
He's there for every single one.
everyone, there's
He's
a like
liking
and a
them.
comment. And
Yeah.
honestly, he was Famber before anybody else.
Oh,
Yeah.
Amber.
He was Famber.
Yeah.
My Fambers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Famber.
If this gets a following, I do it for my Fambers.
Oh,
but yeah, no, I think
friendship
it's,
isn't always fun.
No, sometimes
What a segue.
you know what's not fun? Rabies and friendship. Friendship isn't always fun. I have a lot of friend trauma.
I have a lot of friend trauma.
So much friend trauma.
do you have friend trauma?
I yes. I think anyone who's been alive has.
Do you have friend trauma?
Wait. I think anyone, right?
You think so?
I think anyone who's been friends with anyone.
No, not from a general perspective. Do you personally have?
Yeah. Like,
friend
do you
trauma?
have friend trauma?
I don't know.
Oh, honey.
You go. You go. Sorry. I don't know. Sorry. I went into myself. That was weird.
He said, "Hold on, let me check."
For real.
literally-
It was like a tapeworm. Yeah. You,
No friend trauma.
I pulled a raven.
like you had a
That's so
straight
rude.
up. You had a vision.
Yeah, I had a vision.
You broke the fourth
You guys,
wall.
why don't you guys start?
Okay,
Yeah.
let's
go
just
ahead.
talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk
no,
about it.
I feel like I feel like friend trauma is crazy.
Well, okay, before we go there, let's talk about
yeah.
just.
Oh, he found it.
No, I want to set this. I want to set the scene like just friendship as an adult.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
being friends with other adults. You know,
Yes.
because it's different. It's different when you're in school because you all go to the same school.
Right.
You all, you know, it's
Yeah.
the proximity is there. But now that we're adults, everyone's got their own thing going
Yes.
on. Like it's very difficult to make friends as an adult and to
Yeah.
maintain friendship as
Right.
an adult. So let's talk about that first.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I think like you're saying, but also like when you're going, at least for me, it was like transitioning from, because even college, it's like, you know, you're in that
Mhm.
school space and then you get out of college and it's like you have your friends you left college with,
Mm.
but then you're like also a whole new person.
Mhm.
And
Right.
you're like, there are just so many seasons for life.
Yeah.
And I think
100%.
that was a really hard thing for me to realize.
Yes.
Is like, I can be grateful for that friend in that season.
Yeah.
Mm,
But
mhm.
also I can realize like that season's over.
Right.
And like there are certain friendships, right, that like can make it through any season.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But then there are other friendships that don't.
Yeah. Well,
And that's okay.
Mhm.
truly, like I feel like it really is too, like your world like gets bigger and smaller. Like, you know, like you
Mhm.
graduate like all of my like college friends were people that I worked with
Mhm.
at the time. And like we're all friends, like we all care and check in on each other.
Yeah.
But like it's different because, you know, you graduate school, you start a new job, and you're meeting a whole new cast of people,
Yeah.
right? Like and and like it either works or it doesn't, or like you get really lucky. Like I feel like my really good friend, it feels weird to be 30 and be like my best friend.
I know, right? I know.
Because I also feel like best friend is like people, they always say like best friend is not a title, it's like a tier, you know?
I've heard
Like,
that. I've heard that. Yeah.
Like I feel like to be a best friend is just like you are a person I love, and like I feel safe, like you're a safe person. And so like, yeah, I feel like my Fresno bestie, you know, it was like very organic in that like we worked at the same place,
right?
And we like had a lot of stuff in common. But that was, I think, the first time I ever had to like consciously,
right?
You know, like it was like a situation where I was like, oh, I'm like, I have to like put in an effort to like be proximal to this person, like in a way that's not just us working together.
Yeah.
You know, and be like, okay, we're going to like develop a friend, you know, and you get lucky with people where it's like you're the same sort of like, you know,
common interests.
There's common interests and like also personality wise, like I feel like there's a lot to like work with, but also I feel like, yeah, you meet more people and your life expands, and or like you move somewhere and like all of a sudden your life changes and there's like less people proximal to you. And so yeah, making friends is a bitch, dude.
Making friends is so hard. And it's just so funny you bring up work, because like that is where I've met like my other two closest friends.
Yeah.
You know, it's like at work.
Yeah.
Like me and Steph were coworkers. And then like somehow like I don't know if it's the trauma bonding of like a workplace.
For sure.
Yeah,
but
that's
like,
part of it for
Yeah.
sure.
It is
For
like
sure.
like you were saying, like we had to like actively make that choice to like we're gonna hang out outside of this. And then even when we both left, like it was like, no, I still want to see you.
Yeah,
like it's
we're
just
still
so
gonna be friends.
Yeah. So I wonder if there's like a tie for that, like workplace besties. I don't know.
No, for sure. Like I feel like in every place I've ever worked, I have like found like, you know, it's kind of like you like collect like not like they're not like Pokemon, but like it's like there are like you have like pockets, right? Like I have from every job at least one or two people that I just really connected with, and like that I continue to have a connection with, and yeah, like our friendships have grown and changed, and then it's like cool because you no longer have this like one thing in common, but then you become so like ingrained in each other's lives, and like you know, your friends have kids and get married and they have partners and like it's just this like really beautiful thing where your world becomes more enriched because of the relationships that like truly the relationships that you have. Like I feel like your friends are now my friends. You know, they're in
This is an example right here.
yeah. Like I feel like there's a lot of like I give a shit about you as a person, Kris, and like
Right back at you, pal.
oh my God, thank you, AJ. I have a feeling this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
I think so too. We hit it off well today.
Yeah, we vibed. So yeah, I think in general, I
don't know. It's just like a performance review.
sometimes I know I'm like, can somebody tell me if I did good after this? But no, I think it really is like a beautiful thing to like not only become friends with someone, but like be part of their world. Because like what's so like fun and like my dad is like a very gruff, like serious dude, but he's like always asking, like he's always like, oh, are Ariana and Lorenzo good? Like I hope they're, you know, because I think for him too, it's like there's like the longevity of, you know, like we were kids and he like knew who you were. Or like my mom has known
Your
Hannah
mom
and
loves Lorenzo.
My mom.
I think not saying your parents are old, but I think old people have a really good like base of like how friendship should be. Because I feel like I know a lot of people in that age range that always ask about like my friends too, or they're very caring about like, oh, do you still maintain those friendships?
Yeah.
So I feel like the way that they handle friendships is really good.
Yeah,
Because
for
they
sure.
didn't have the internet or social media.
No,
That's true. They were writing each other
friends.
fucking letters.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they were sending pigeons to each other.
They were playing Atari. I don't fucking know. Like, but yeah, I think it is like it's an interesting thing to like make friendships and maintain them. And here's the thing is like, it's a lot of the time people are like, I can't believe you like come down here and like do all these things. Like, but it's like so little effort to have.
I was gonna say it's so routine now that it feels, you know,
it feels so much like this is just like another
Very
like
normal.
this is an
Yeah.
extension like of of my life.
I
And
love that.
and like, but all of that too is because like you go out of your way to like integrate friends and like sorry,
Hannah's too drunk for this.
I'm in love with Hannah.
I'm having a hard time holding my mic.
but truly, like it's a treat to like become, because I have other friendships like that where like, you know, all of
there's
your
others?
I didn't want you to find out like this. Is this a good time to say that I do occasionally listen to the podcast and it's contentious.
Should we open that up right now?
Wait, what's happening?
Well,
What do
yeah,
you mean?
before we talk about friend trauma, because
Let's talk about a trauma in our friendship.
Us?
yeah,
Or you?
She does not listen to the pod.
Oh.
not regularly.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
I know what.
It's because of AJ.
Yeah, I'm like, who's that white guy? But you know what? I see
I'm
him.
Asian, actually.
Oh my god, really?
Wait, can we cut that? Amber's gonna get canceled.
Yeah,
Her
can you cut
members.
that? Never has someone built an empire and torn it down as quickly as I have.
Caesar, watch out.
R.I.P. Caesar, you would have loved Amber demolishing her own empire. I
What
love
were we
that.
talking
Wow.
about before?
No, we were going to talk about
How you don't listen to the pod.
Oh yeah.
because here's the thing. When I heard that this was happening,
Mm-hmm.
like the whole 2 years ago when you guys started,
At 1 year, but thank you.
whatever.
This is a safe space. This is a safe space.
I was rounding up.
She was giving us the benefit of the
Yeah,
doubt.
yeah.
As a good friend
you guys,
does.
But you guys have been talking about it for a couple
For a
of
long
years.
time, yeah.
So when you guys started this, however fucking long ago it was, it was very exciting, and I was like I'm following the Instagram. I was locked in. I listened to that first episode, and I was like in tears. I was so sad
Wait, why?
because I get FOMO.
Oh.
And then when I do listen to the podcast, it has to be so annoying for you because you're like, you record this like a week or two out. And I literally was listening to the one where you guys were talking about million, like, would you take $1 billion,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
or whatever, million versus billion? And I texted Hannah completely out of context, and I was like, I would also take the million.
And I was like,
You're like, what the
because
fuck?
I was texting her because I was stressed, and I was like, is she trying to calm me down? Like, is this like a
tactics?
Because I was texting her like, I'm stressed. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
And she's like, I would take the $1 million. And I was like, okay,
I
what
would
does that
also,
mean? What?
I would also take the $1 million. You were the Nicki Minaj sound.
Yeah.
so
yeah,
funny.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
And I was like, I would take the $1 million.
Yeah. All of a sudden, your problems
Yeah,
were, and it worked.
I would
And I'm
take.
calm.
It's
I
like
would
a
take-
mantra. And then she
Yeah.
goes, no, I was just talking about that episode on the podcast.
I was just listening to this
Every
episode of
morning
the
I look in the
podcast.
mirror and I'm like, I would take the $1 million.
I'm going to take the
But
million.
and then what's so funny is that I've listened to the podcast before, like, and Adrian, my boyfriend, will just think I'm like on the phone or like on FaceTime
With
with
me?
you guys. Because I'm
funny.
actively responding. It's fucking depressing. It's so much easier to watch and consume media from people you don't really know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I want to be locked
Oh.
in.
I know.
I
Yeah.
want this is a dream for me.
Yeah.
Like being
Aw.
here doing this.
Yeah.
In where are we?
Yeah, hold up. We got to cut that. Hold on.
Uh,
I don't want to get doxxed.
Sorry, I was gonna
Yeah.
say, did I just dox you guys?
I don't want nobody to raid me.
He over here at 999 Pine Street. But yeah, so that is. I do want to address the elephant in the room. I watch clips.
You're on the socials.
I'm on the. I engage with the socials.
Mhm.
It is truly just too depressing to listen to it sometimes
That's fair.
because I'm like, my friends are having a good time and I'm not there with them.
Yeah.
You
You know what? I think if it was reversed and you started a podcast with a friend in Fresno, I don't think I could listen.
it's too hard.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh my God, I have heard this story, or like I want to be,
Yeah.
or like I want to be part of the,
Yeah.
like I want to be part
Yeah.
of what's good, my
Yeah.
dude, for
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Oh.
And so I do want to address that. I know that there's a lot of rumors and people are like, is there beef?
Yeah. Well, thanks for choosing to address it publicly here.
Yeah. I mean, it was either that or like an Instagram note screenshot.
The black screen.
Yeah, black screen
White
and like
text.
white text. Yeah. So I do want to address that. It's not for any reason other than I literally get FOMO
That's fair.
and I miss my friends.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, you guys are building an empire.
That's part
We
of.
are.
I mean, and that's part of friendship. There's knowing that about yourself,
And
right?
being
Right.
honest. Because I could have, if you weren't brave enough to tell me, I would have just been like, oh my God, Amber hates it. She thinks I'm stupid. She
Right.
doesn't.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's the thing. That is, I will say another thing about friendship is that in the friendships that I have that are very strong and healthy,
Mm.
there is space to be like, hey, you did or said this thing. I know you would never ever do anything to hurt me.
Mm.
This hurt my feelings. This made me feel anxious. This made me feel sad. And there's like the openness because then I'm able to be like, oh shit, like my intent is never to hurt that person or like make them feel insecure or upset. And so that's like a great, I feel like that's a part of friendship we don't talk about.
It's
like
not talked about enough.
the ability to have hard conversations.
No.
Like the ability to be like, hey, you said this thing, you did this thing and it hurt my feelings. And, or, you know, like, hey, I'm feeling really insecure.
That's something that I know that I need to work on that because just speaking of like friendship trauma, I think a lot of that stems from like, hey, there was like a breakdown in communication.
Yeah.
And you weren't honest enough with yourself and with the other person to say like what you were saying, like, hey, like this kind of hurt my feelings. I
Yeah.
wish you wouldn't do that, you know?
Yeah.
So that's something that I need to work on
Yeah.
and be more kind of transparent in that way.
Yeah.
So
What if we did something where this is a suggestion for like maybe a future episode, but where we have a write-in box for like what's good, my dudes, for listeners. And maybe you can read it off because I'm sure many other people feel the same way. They have something they want to share too.
I want to tell you what's good, my
Yeah.
dude.
So maybe we
Man, that's
can
a good
do,
idea.
and maybe we could do it every episode too, where there's just like, you guys, like maybe they can,
we read a few of them.
maybe you can send a DM,
Yeah.
or maybe it's in one of the comments, and if maybe
Yeah.
there's a few short ones, we can read a couple.
Yeah.
To just feature listeners on the show and just
Yeah.
read some of the
Yeah.
things that
That's
are
a good idea.
doing good in their lives.
Because you
too.
guys are literally building an empire, growing exponentially.
Mm-hmm.
The roomies,
The
roomie hive, active,
Hive.
active.
The house is getting big.
The house is getting
The house-
big.
the house is getting- The call is
Wait.
coming from inside the house.
The call is coming, but I do want to catapult back onto what you were
Mhm.
just saying.
Yes.
Back sprint hand.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just want to piggyback.
Piggyback.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that was like one of the hardest lessons I learned, like probably like mid-20s to now, is like the friendships where I didn't feel safe to have confrontations or have those uncomfy conversations were like the most unhealthy, because then I'm like putting on a face and I'm trying to do anything I can to please them and like make them happy, and putting my own feelings to the wayside because
Yes.
I feel like that's what I have to do. And like recently, like I have lost a couple of friends that I didn't necessarily think I would ever lose, but like, and it was really hard
Yeah.
to go through that. But it's like now in that absence, I've been able to like really realize that the closest friends I have, I feel 100% safe having those conversations. And I've
Right.
never like felt that before.
Yeah.
Like I've never felt, I mean, obviously with Lorenzo, like
Yeah.
that's a whole different thing. But I mean, like just in friendships, like
yeah.
I don't typically feel safe. Like that's just not like my default. I'm not a
Right.
confrontational person.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
So
the
it
same way,
takes like a very like
Mhm.
intentional relationship for me to feel safe to
Yeah.
do that. So I never realized the importance of it until now when I'm having it and I'm like, oh my God, I can just cancel plans and
Yeah.
not be stressed that they're not going to talk to me ever again. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have to offer an excuse. It's
Yeah.
just
Yes.
like, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, do what you got to do. Like, it's so refreshing.
Yeah. No, it's truly, and I think it's powerful too, like when you allow people to like fully see you and know you. And because I feel like a few weeks ago I was just going through like a dip, like a depressive dip, and it was really hard for me. And like I feel like my like gut reaction is to like make plans and like be out in the world and like But then I inevitably canceled the plans because I'm like, I don't have the energy. I can't
Yeah.
engage. And like, so I had plans with a friend and I was like, hey, I have to be so real. Like, I am having a really hard time today. Like, I feel like I've been on the brink of tears all day. Like, I just have a lot going on. And she's like, I love you and I see you and I totally understand if you like need to go home and whatever. But she's like, I think it would be better for you to be here than to be alone.
Mhm.
And so I think that was like a really beautiful thing too, was I had the option.
Yeah.
Mm.
I had the option and like the knowing that there was zero judgment.
Mhm.
And like, and I did end up going and hanging out with her and it was delightful. And like, I
Yeah.
had a great time and it did help. And so, but I feel like it's like the option and the know, like the seeing and the knowing of like, I love you. And like, I want you to do what you need to do for yourself. But also it's like, there's like the freedom for them to say,
Like the door's
think-
always open.
Yeah, the door is open. And
Mhm.
I think this might be a better outlet for you than to like go home and like scream into your
Mhm.
pillow and cry.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah, I feel like that's also a big part of it too. But I am queen, if we're going to talk about trauma,
Uh-oh.
I am queen of, and this is problematic, but like I will let things,
The pause.
I'm sorry. I will let things fester. And then I will like boil over.
Oh.
I will
Like
will
you won't say what you're really feeling, or
yeah, well, I won't say what I'm really feeling, and then I'll like take an edible.
oh,
Shout out edibles.
Shout out edibles. Is that a sponsor you guys could get? You should
I
get
hope so.
you should
Edible
get
arrangements.
which I
Oh.
also love.
Swipe up and use our code roomies for 20% off your next edible arrangement.
arrangement.
Edible
Yeah, we're
arrangement.
never getting an ad.
An edible arrangement.
That's the French version.
Edible arrangement.
Arrangement.
I broke Hannah. But yeah, no, I feel like that if we're gonna like talk about the full scope of like friendship, being a good friend, being a kind friend,
Mm.
I think that something I've learned in my 20s is like honesty is the most beautiful gift you can give anyone.
Mm.
Honesty and transparency, and that's like in all like work relationships,
Yeah.
friendships, my romantic relationship, family, like honesty is a beautiful gift. And I think it's opening space for someone to be honest, but also allowing yourself to be honest.
Mhm.
Because like I have been in situations before where I was like really hurt or like put off by something and I like didn't say anything at the time. And so then I create distance, you know, I fall off the face of the earth or whatever. And then 5 years later, I take an edible. Am I not allowed to say that? Are you gonna have to edit that out?
No, we
fine.
talk. We
Okay.
can talk about edibles.
Okay, perfect. But like,
No, edibles are chill. Yeah.
We're chill with the
but
weed.
like, I we're down with the marijuana.
Yeah.
But like truly there is like I feel like there was a turning point for me where I was like becoming really reflective of my formative friendships as like a teenager. And not to get too deep, but really it was going through this thing of like I was growing and that growth was perceived as like me like tossing them aside or like disregarding them or like not wanting anything to do with them anymore. And that wasn't it. It was truly that like I could not be myself. And so I created distance without realizing it.
Mm.
And like, and so I think it was, you know, I like went through this thing where I just let it fester. I didn't say anything for years. And then, you know, people get married and you're reunited all of a sudden and you're in situations where, you know, where you
Yeah.
like, you take an edible and you say how you feel.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's like 5 years after the fact. And,
Yeah.
so I feel like that's also like friend trauma.
Yeah.
You know, that like rears its head and is really hard because, you know, I wish I could have been more honest
Mhm.
about my
Yeah.
feelings at the time, but
Yeah.
I will echo that sentiment because even when we started living together, that's something that we had to learn. Not just with you, but with Lorenzo and with Danny, like us. When you're sharing a space with people
Mhm.
24/7, it's something that And I think we did a pretty good job of like, you know, creating that space of, you know, we had our monthly meetings or whatever, and just really fostering that like openness, like, you know, and transparency, and we're still working on it. And Hannah and I get into fights, and it's like, we're learning how to like, you know.
Yeah, you guys just got into a fight earlier.
So
we actually did.
But I mean, I think we've navigated that for so many times now that it's like, we kind of know, you know, how to like.
Just the most recent text.
I know. I already know. I saw it and I was like, Hannah's mad.
I texted him in all caps, "You're annoying."
So,
but like,
it's
even
stuff
the
like
ability to do that and know that you love each other and like.
Well, what's funny is when I read that, I was like, okay, I'm glad that she's comfortable enough to tell me how she feels.
Truly, because that's a gift. That's a gift for both of you.
Yeah,
is to be like both the giver and the receiver.
Of his annoyance.
Well, and honesty.
Yeah.
And whatever else people want to do with a hot pink vibrator. Like,
True.
It's
True.
So that's the thing is,
at the end of the day.
At the end of the day. So yeah, I feel like that's also, not to get into the weeds with it.
But no,
like,
I think you hit it on the head there with like, for friendship, I think if you are building a foundation of honesty and transparency, that's going to be the best thing you could do, because otherwise you're going to get friends who are fake, or you're not unable, like you were saying, you weren't even being yourself. You were unable to communicate the way you were really feeling, because you thought like, oh, this person's going to hate me or whatever, right? XYZ. So, or
like, not to sound 85 years old, but like fair weather friends, right? Like I feel like in a lot of situations I was like, you know, I'm like the comic relief, or like I'm the emotional support, you know, person.
Like the performer. I always kind of felt like, oh, I have to be the one to like.
That's your value. That's the value.
Right. That's like that's what you bring to the function.
Exactly.
And so I think like in proving our value sometimes, and I feel like it goes back to like Enneagram and astrology, right? Like we're all motivated by these different things, and like we all want to feel seen and heard and loved, and you know, ultimately, like, I really feel like friendships and like romantic relationships are like two sides of a very similar coin.
Yeah.
I do think if you don't have a crush on at least like 4 of your friends, you're not doing it right.
On at least 4?
I just, you know, minimum.
Minimum.
Because here's the thing is like, I think all of my friends are hot and cool and fun, and anyone who doesn't, and I feel like a lot of my friends are like partnered and married now, but like when a lot of them were single, I was like, you're so like, this person is stupid. You are everything. You are.
No, I get that. It's like, I'm like ride or die. Like I will hype you up until.
And you're a very good hype man.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
You're like really good at
the
that.
Best.
Yeah.
That's the thing about me, is that I will never stick up for myself, but like I will fight anyone who's ever wronged someone I've loved.
I literally earlier today was like telling Amber a story about someone who was mean to me recently, and she literally like,
and she pulled out a knife.
She literally she grabbed her keys and was like, "Where are we going?" Like
I literally
where's
I was
this
like,
hoe?
Fuck that bitch. Like, and that's I feel like a different side of it too, is like the ability to be like, am I the asshole? Like, am I being fucked up about this?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, it's like it's a many splendored thing, and it's like beautiful and complicated and hard, because any human relationship is beautiful and complicated and hard. But yeah, to have friends where there's a lot of safety and love and like, you know, and I feel like it's different. Like my dynamic with you is so different than my dynamic from Lorenzo.
Yeah.
Because you and I are like, you know, making out and like drooling. I just mean like, we make our love for each other. Literally last night.
Go on.
Last night we like went out to dinner. Normally I stay.
Yes.
Normally I stay at your house.
Amber and Adrian will stay.
Yes.
At our home.
We'll sleep in the pull-out couch. They literally, the way they got a pull-out couch, and
Just
they were
for
like,
them.
it's for you guys.
And so, last night we went to dinner. So they picked me up, but then I drove back with Heather and Eric because they makes more sense directionally.
Yeah.
And literally
So we
I'm
went back.
in the car.
Yeah.
Texting Amber that I missed her.
Yeah. I'm telling you, when it's borderline middle school.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but I think that's also like a beautiful thing.
Totally.
Is it's like, to me, this feels like a reclamation of like the friendships that we deserved
Yeah.
in our youth.
Okay, so
I
that's
love
that's good. That's a good ending point. So as we're wrapping up, let's all say like, what's something that if you were talking to your middle school self,
Yeah.
like what's something you would say to middle school Amber and middle school Hannah, like about friendship, and as like as an adult, like what are they looking forward to?
This is what they do on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Do they?
They hold a picture of like their childhood self, and they're like, "What would you say to little Bobby?"
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they're like butch.
Wait, I
They're
love
like
this.
butch selves.
Yeah.
But no, who wants to go first?
Oh God. I don't know. Okay, wait. Okay, little Hannah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're working so hard to impress people, and you don't believe you're enough for people, and one day you're gonna realize that it's exhausting trying to please every single person and completely change who you are to fit different molds for people and be everything for everybody. And you're gonna feel so freaking happy when you realize that people love you for you and love your friendship, love your presence, and you don't even have to try that hard. Like, you don't have to try at all, actually. Like, people will take you on
You're actually really good at it.
No, I just mean that, like, people are gonna take you on your best days, and they're also gonna accept you on your worst days when you don't have any energy to give and you just need to exist with people. Like, you don't have to constantly put on a show.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. Like,
That's
there's
good.
a lot of
That's
good
good.
things. You're enough.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go die now.
I would say,
I'm gonna go evaporate.
I would say to my younger self, I would say you don't have any friends right now.
Sweet baby Kris.
I would say you were not exposed to like healthy, like what you've never experienced what a healthy friendship is, but you will. And oh my God,
Oh, honey.
I'm gonna say that you didn't have healthy friendships. Well, I didn't get a chance to. I didn't
Yeah.
get a chance to have friends when I was young, but I would say you will have friends in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's going to be good. And you're going to make the best decision of your life when you mix your worlds. That was the
Yeah.
best thing I could have done is
Yeah.
now, like, I used to keep all my friends in their little pockets, compartmentalized. Like, I wouldn't have my school friends or my whatever, right? So the one party that I threw where I was like, you know what? Once I cross this line, it's never going to be the same. And I'm just always going to operate like this. And it was the best thing I could have done. And now it's so easy for me. Like you with, like you never would have met Cassie and AJ if I was, so, and like even meeting you,
Right, we
like
would
it
have
would,
never-
like,
yeah.
that's like so easy now.
Yeah.
And that was the best thing that I could have done. Cause now, like you were saying, like friends will enrich your life and they don't have to, like your friends can be friends without you, it's like, it's fine.
Yeah,
and
for
it's,
sure.
you don't have to kind of you don't have to be the center holding everything together.
Right.
Like everyone can just be friends with whoever they want.
Yeah.
And you can be friends with whoever you want.
We're all vibing. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I love that. No, I feel like for my younger self, I was a very lonely kid. And I feel like I spent my whole life like looking for like my best friend, and it's so fucking depressing. But like truly, like I was a very lonely kid. And so I think of her and I think, first of all, like you are your first best friend. Like I think we're our first best friend. And like, and I think that I would just tell her like, she is going to find so many pockets and outlets throughout her life. And, she'll always do her best to work her way in there. But like with the right people, you don't have to work so hard, and they'll just love you and they'll see you. And yeah, life will just feel less lonely.
Should we all hold hands?
Hold on. That's the bell. We have to get at it.
We actually have dinner. You know how on some podcasts it's like, I gotta go, we have dinner.
We have reservations.
We have a
literally
dinner.
do.
I have to get to a
No,
dinner.
but also
Yeah.
I'm too emotionally fragile now.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Anyway,
you.
let's get
Amber,
this bread, I
Thank
guess.
you
No,
so much
Thank
for
you for having me.
being on the pod.
And this is just part 1 of Amberpalooza.
Amberpalooza Part
welcome.
1.
And all of our roomies bought the VIP general admission pass for Amberpalooza.
We should
Love.
get merch that says Amberpalooza.
Stop. But Amberpalooza is, there was a weekend where it was like
Yeah.
my birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, and that's to close. That's how your friends should celebrate you.
Yeah.
Every day should feel
Throw
like
you
your
a
birthday.
festival.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me. I love you guys.
Thanks for coming.
Where can
Roomies,
people
thank
find
you for
you?
having us.
I can be found at Shut Up Amps on Instagram.
She posts some really great stuff.
One thing about me is I'm gonna treat the internet like my journal,
Yeah.
and the thoughts I should keep inside I'm gonna put on my Instagram story.
And we
Yeah.
love that.
Thank you.
And they are very insightful.
I do it all for my fambers.
Fambers.
Yeah. So thank
Roomies,
you.
thank you for having us and listening to us and inviting our friends, inviting our friends with and crying with us. Follow us on the socials and give us the 5-star ratings on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Patreon. Thank you for being here.
We love you.
We love you.
But we do have a dinner to go.
We literally have to leave
like
now.
we literally have to run.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
people would be mad at us.
Yeah.
So
Our friends will be mad at us.
I'm gonna
yes,
eat-
truly.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're gonna
Speaking-
tell us.
Yeah, speaking of friendships, we gotta go save
There's
some.
some hanging in the balance right now.
Until next time, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun.
Bye.